start officially. Attention, attention, calling all looters. This is the assignment. Hello, looters. Welcome to the Movie Loot Live. My name is Carlo, and I'll be leading the assignment. What is that? Well, this is the episode where me and a guest will choose the set of categories of what to watch during the month of July. That will be our loot. And for that, I'm joined by film lover, self proclaimed film critic, founder of Movie Reviews 101, but most importantly, a great Twitter friend, Darren Lucas. How you doing, Darren?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm sure we can find some interesting loot this month.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, and it's great to have you here in the show because we've been interacting on Twitter for a couple of years now. Actually, whenever I make my birthday loot episodes in August, where I ask people for film recommendations, you've always come up with great recommendations. I think you're the only one that has successfully recommended something during the 3 years I've been doing that. Um, so that's good to know.
It's good.
You you actually recommended, yeah, the ones that you recommended I checked. You recommended Odd Thomas with Anton Yelchin a couple of years ago. That was an interesting watch. You recommended Eight Leg Freaks, which I hadn't seen, and it was a blast. That film was a true riot. I really enjoyed it. And last year you recommended a really interesting one, U-Turn from India. And that was also a really interesting one that I really wasn't expecting. I didn't know what to expect from it, and it was a nice surprise.
Yeah, they sort of all fit into three of my favourite little subgenres of film. Like you have like the slightly supernatural, you have
Yeah,
the ghost investigation ones I'm obsessed with, and um, that's why I can watch like eight monster creature features. You just love them. I can watch any of them.
no, they were all really enjoyable to varying degrees, but they were all fun and interesting watches, which is some of what I'm trying to get with this loot with this game. That's part of what we're trying to get to watch films that we wouldn't watch any other way, that we maybe wouldn't stumble. Let me just browse and see what's on Netflix or what's on Prime. But the goal of this loot is just to try to find things that we wouldn't watch any other way. Um, but that's just one of the many reasons why I wanted to have you on. Let's talk a bit about what you do. When did you start Movie Reviews 101?
I believe I started it in about 2009. I want to
Wow.
say. It sort of started just as a old school friend said, "Do you want to write some reviews for me?" And I thought, "Well, I'll do it." I was like, they were literally 3 sentences long. They were awful, and the idea was I thought I'd just back them up on what used to be You Guy Reviews, hence the Twitter name. Um, and then eventually, it just sort of got to a stage where it's like I could do this and make this a bit of fun. I always used to watch movies overnight. I always use a term a lot called late night horror or late night action, where it's like 11 o'clock at night and there's an action movie on, hour and a half. I don't care. It's not got to be like the best movie in the world. As long as I'm entertained for an hour and a half, I'm happy. And the same with horror. And so I just started looking into them and I was trying to catch up with everything. And you just start writing and just, it wants to be a diary. And then it turned into more and more and more. And suddenly you're being sent all these weird films to watch that no one else has seen. And you want to be the first person to talk about them.
Yeah.
And that's what I enjoy. And that's what it's basically become.
Yeah, it's always something weird uh when you're at that time, like I said, 11:30, what I'm gonna watch. So it's really interesting to tune in and see. Let me see what I just watched at this moment of night, and you can certainly come up with some really interesting watches at that time.
Yep, 100%.
One of the things that your Twitter bio reads, it reads ABC Film Challenge Creator. Why don't you tell us what is that?
So the idea of the ABC Film Challenge is I pick a pretty broad subject, and the idea is you got 26 days. You got to watch, review, comment on a different film from that each letter of the alphabet. A few cheats here and there because let's face it, X and Y and Q are a bit difficult. So you can pick characters, actors, but you do like I go through certain subjects like action. Action April is one I use. Oscars is February. But then throughout the middle of the year, I tend to pick just odd ones, like going into July of just doing movies from 2010s. It's a big open space, but there's a lot that I've missed, and it's just a chance to go catch up on things. I, one thing I like to complete is the letterbox front page, so I can use
Okay.
that as a like a template of what I want to fix.
When you that's actually one of the reasons why I started doing this challenges that first I tried to do with myself, and now I'm trying to join to drag other people to join me, and it's to whenever you're like browsing and you don't know what to watch, I don't know what I'm looking for, I don't know what to watch, and this sort of categories and challenges kind of force you to box yourself into a criteria and say this is what I'm going to watch, and I think that's always fun. So that's one of the reasons, and maybe we're going to try some ABCs in this in what we're going to choose today. So basically what we're definitely going to talk more with you when we get back at the end of the month, and that moment we can dive into everything you do and more about your work and your writing. So basically, what we'll be doing today is receiving the assignment of what will be our loot, choosing the categories of what we'll watch. It's the beginning of July, so once we finish today, we both will have our assignment, our mission of what to watch during the month. Darren, how open are you to watching different types of film? We'll be talking about that, but we've had a couple of challenging categories through the year since we started. January had us watching a film from Sudan, which was a really challenge to find. Um, we have somebody joining us. Tom, hi, how you doing, Tom? He says, "Entertain me." I'm trying. Uh, um, and in February, we had a film from Kuwait, which actually my guest shows that category. He said, "No, I want to watch something from Kuwait," and then he told me I had a really hard time finding one. So it was interesting. In March, my guest had a hard time finding a film with the word time in its title for some reason. He said, "Yeah, I know there's like a million once upon a time somewhere," but he just couldn't settle on one, and he ended up watching Beastmaster 2 through the portal of time. One of my, I'm sure, one of the best films out there. Um, and the last one, our last loot in May, we had a rough time finding films from Croatia and Paraguay. We really had a hard time, and we actually ended up, for those that listen, our latest episode with Mel Valentin, we actually ended up watching the same because I know we had a hard time finding films for those categories, and I told him, this is the one I saw, and you can find it on Prime or you can find it on Tubi, and he said, okay, I give up. I'm gonna go with those two because I'm having a really hard time, and we had a fun conversation about the films that we watched. But those are the ones that usually stump us, the country ones. And I'm sure you noticed that I put a couple of those on the list. So I don't know if you're going to choose a country one, but maybe the randomizer will throw it at us. So we'll see. Are you ready?
Yes,
Okay, let me just set up something and see what you think.
I like how Letterbox can help find the country ones.
Yeah, actually, when I was setting up everything, I kind of like to go on Letterboxd and look for films from whatever to see that there is something, at least that there are options to watch. Um, so that's what I'm trying to do. Can you see that screen?
Yes,
Okay, here we go. We have the Movie Loot monthly challenge, and we have a couple of boxes here from what we're gonna choose. Um, Darren, you're the guest, so let me know if what category you want to go first.
I'm going to pick one of my easy picks, and that is based on a video game.
Oh, that's a good one. Um, do you already have a film in mind for that?
I've got lots of films in mind. It's a toy up between rewatching one or talking more about one of the animated Resident Evil movies
Oh,
or revisiting Silent Hill.
I remember the Silent Hill one. I saw it a while ago, but I remember it was not great, but it was solid. I remember it being quite atmospheric, very moody, very eerie. It had that vibe. So it should be I read that there's like a new Silent Hill film coming like next year, I think, 2024, I think. Return to Silent Hill, something like that. So let's see if what they do with it. Um, I don't know. Maybe I might check. I don't know if I can check the new Mario Brothers movie. Maybe put it with the kids. Maybe I'm dying to check the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie. I never saw that one. I know it's people say it's a weird one. So maybe maybe I'm gonna finally check that one out. Um, so there are a lot of options. So we'll see what I come up with. Let me see. Let me know. Let me see what I go with. I think I'm gonna go easy with this one, and I'm gonna go with something that you might like, and I'm gonna go with a film with a title that starts with the letters M or N, just to go with your ABC film challenge. Okay, so something with the letters M or N, there are bound to be lots of options. So we'll see what we can come up with. Tom, if you're reading, do you have any recommendations? Let's see if Tom can jump in with any recommendations. M or N or video game. If you have any recommendations, please jump in and throw it on the chat, and I'll share them with Darren. And anybody else that's listening, feel free to throw any recommendations about any of these categories so far. Darren, do you know any other category?
I'm torn between like two, just because I feel like it's a chance to rewatch one of my favorite movies.
Mm, that's always good.
But I, it's so, I nearly picked one subject, but I think it's the wrong football.
Hmm.
Is that meant to be American football or soccer to you?
I'm pretty sure you were gonna ask about that. Um, Let me see why did I put that?
Or is
What
it,
does it say? It says national football day. I suppose is American football because that's the national football. So, uh,
oh, we're just gonna have to go with aliens then.
okay. I love that one. Yeah. So we have here a film about aliens or alien abductions because today actually is World UFO Day. So that's surely can be a fun one, and there are a lot of options. Do you have anyone in mind?
Not completely, but I have a few that I've really wanted to rewatch. So there's like things like District 9 I haven't
Oh,
seen for like 15 odd years, and I really want to try watching Arrival again and stuff like that. I haven't really
okay,
seen that since it got released, and it's just a way to push me into it almost.
yeah. Arrival I saw fairly recently, like 5 years ago. But what was the first one that you mentioned?
District 9.
Oh, District 9. Yeah, District 9 I haven't seen like also like you said like I think like since 2009, and I remember loving it. So it should be interesting. I think that Neil Blomkamp, he said, because the film teases a sequel, like, it ends like in a cliffhanger, and but he never got around to making the sequel. But I think that he said that he was working, or there was a strong possibility that the sequel could come up uh, sometime. I know he's busy working with he's making like an alien movie right now, an alien movie about aliens, but I think he's making like his aliens film right now, and that should be an interesting watch also. Okay, so let me see what I go with. I'm going blank now. I really don't know what. Um, Tom says Hell Comes to Frogtown. That for alien category? Is that an alien film? Haven't heard of it. Hell Comes to Frogtown. Let me
I feel
see
like
what.
I've heard of that one.
Let's see what comes up with this. Hell Comes to. Oh, that's the Roddy Piper one. Yeah. Is it Roddy Piper? Yeah. Roddy
Yeah.
Piper, yeah, yeah. After a worldwide nuclear war where 68% of the male population was wiped out and virile men becoming a rarity, Sam Hill, which is Roddy Piper, a scavenger and a highly virile man, is assigned to help rescue a group of fertile women kidnapped by humanoid frogs. Oh my god. That sounds like something to watch. I'm definitely gonna consider that. Thanks for the recommendation, Tom. Um, let me see what I come up with. Okay. Um, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna choose for this one. Let me see. Let me just browse the list. Uh, mm, mm, okay. I'm gonna go with Ken Burns. He's a famous documentarian. So I'm gonna go with a film from Ken Burns, who was born on July 29th. So there's our fourth category. Okay, so we have four categories set already. Darren chose a film based on a video game and a film about aliens or alien abductions. Two really, really fun categories that I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of options to pick from, at least from aliens. Um, and I chose a film with a title that starts with the letters M or N and a film from Ken Burns. Now we're going to the last category, the randomizer. And for this category, you're gonna give me a number. You're the guest, so you're gonna give me a number, and the randomizer is gonna throw us what category we're gonna watch. Uh, so let me just stop sharing my screen for a while, so I can remove the categories that we already choose, and we don't have any duplicates. Um, so how are you feeling about the categories so far, Darren?
Some research on one.
We're definitely gonna have fun with it. And as I usually tell my guests, we can stay in touch and exchange recommendations of what to watch if you find yourself stumped with any of them or where to find anything. We can always stay in touch and settle that. That's what we've done with pretty much all my previous guests. We stay in touch and we share. This is a list of films from this place or that place, and we always find something interesting to watch. Then we have Ken Burns, and which was the other one? The video game.
Mm.
And we're almost ready. This is the part where you can realize the show is live. Okay, let me just share again.
I know there's only about three that scare me.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so give me a number, random number from 1 to 20, 21.
We'll go six.
6. Ba, ba,
Yeah.
ba, ba. Oof, a film from Argentina.
Cool. Good. So I was worried that I was going to say something else. That's one of those countries
Whi-
scares me.
Which one was worrying you? Which country was worrying you?
Venezuela.
I think Venezuela might have a fairly solid cinema. I'm more worried sometimes about worried in a good sense. When I put like countries from Oceania or from Africa that doesn't have like a very established cinema industry and it's harder to find. Um, and I like to share this story, but when we did the January, I think we did the Sudan one, and I found a film from Sudan on YouTube, but It was like from '77. It was like one of the first films from Sudan, and it had subtitles, but the subtitles were white, and you lost them in the screen with the background and the sand. So I pretty much didn't understand anything that they were talking about. So I was just following the plot through the actions at what they were doing, and it was definitely an interesting experience. So we already have our five categories. We have a film based on a video game. We have a film with a title that starts with the letters M or N. We have a film about aliens or alien abductions, a film from Ken Burns, and a film from Argentina. Five categories of what we're going to watch this month. If anybody that's listening has any recommendations, Tom already throw us what seems like a really interesting recommendation. Hell Comes to Frogtown with Roddy Piper. But if anybody else has any recommendation, feel free to share it. But that would be our assignment for the month. Are you up for it, Darren?
We'll get there.
Definitely. Uh, all right, game on. What will happen now is that we will have what's left of July to watch five films to fit those criteria. And at the end of the month, me and Darren will meet again to talk about this loot of films. We'll share our thoughts, our reviews of whatever we watch, and we're gonna talk with Darren more about his work, his website, and what he do. Um, Darren, it was great to have you here, and we'll meet again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you for having me. I'll go do my homework.
Definitely. So thanks to everybody for listening, and stay tuned for our next episodes. This week we dropped the Maylut episode, which I mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast with critic Mel Valentin, and we have a couple of upcoming episodes in the pipeline. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, follow us on Twitter at TMML2021 and me personally at TIFCGT. Darren, where can people follow you and check out your work?
Moviesreview101.com or Twitter, it's New Guy Reviews 101.
Definitely, we're going to include all those links in the episode description. So make sure you check out Darren's website and follow him on Twitter. He's a great follower, a great friend. Also, listen to the Movie Loot on every podcasting platform. And again, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/movie loot, where for as little as $3, you can support the show and actually be a part of it. Everything you put up will be used to keep the show going. So everybody have a good afternoon, a good night. Darren, thanks again for joining the loot. And let's grab it. Let's grab the loot.